All right, First Sergeant Pagan again, Alpha Company 299 BB, Stabber First Sergeant. So I'm going to talk about the Medevac procedure on the radio. So basically what I'm using here today is I'm using a GTA form 0801004, which can be found at your local TASC here at Fort Carson, okay? Basically on both sides, it'll give you the descriptions of everything that you need in order to make a legit Medevac request over the net. And then on the other side is the portion where you actually start writing stuff down, which obviously I did here, okay? So just going over the basic Medevac request. So there are 9 lines essentially, okay? So there are 2 that change if you're in civilian conditions versus combat, but we're gonna go ahead and roll with the combat side of it today. Okay, so line 1. So line 1, location of pickup site. Okay, so the biggest thing with the location of pickup site is understanding it's not always where you are. Okay, so I think a lot of new sergeants or sergeant first classes, platoon sergeants or whatnot, they tend to get caught up with the location they're currently at. Remember that a lot of these this types of planning should have happened before the mission. So you might have AXPs already identified, LZs if you pass phase line, blue, yellow, or something like that, okay? So just make sure that you understand beforehand where those locations are and just don't always go to default, which is where your current location is, because that location might be a little too rough at that time for birds to come in, okay? So 2, we're going to talk about the radio frequency and call sign. All right, so in this scenario, we're going to go ahead and use single channel plain text 55000 because I do not have a fill right now. So we'll go ahead and call it up over the net here shortly. All right, number 3. All right, so we got numbers of patients by presidents, okay? So you have different things here. You have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo, okay? So that can change depending on the unit TTPs or SOPs or whatnot, okay? So the biggest thing here that I will tell you from previous experiences, understand what type of casualty you have, okay? So if you have a guy that sprained his ankle and you are saying that he's urgent surgical, okay, that bird is going to, let's say there's multiple incidents happening in the area, that bird might have to prioritize, okay? And they might come to us for a sprained ankle when there's legitimately someone else somewhere else, another soldier somewhere else that needs that care immediately when we can pretty much take care of the guy on site, okay? All right, so just make sure you're honest with that. All right, so 4, special equipment. So any type of equipment that you need, make sure you let the bird know that, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to be these generic, responses, but just make sure you say something beforehand, because obviously when that bird takes off, they have to go back to get something, okay? All right, so 5, number of patients by type. Okay, so basically Lima and Alpha are normally what's commonly used. So litter, that soldier has to be on a litter because the injury is pretty tough, or he cannot or she cannot walk. Or ambulatory, where basically they can sit, they can move around, maybe with some help and whatnot, okay? All right, we go to 6, we go to the security of the pickup site. So what's key here is just making sure that you're honest with the assessment of what's on the ground, okay? If you can, if it's hot, you want to make sure that you tell them that, so that they can probably bring an attack helicopter of some sort to cover that Medevac bird's move from that location to your location. All right. Let's see. So we go to next. We go to the method of marking. Okay. So I'll tell you that a lot of us probably use smoke. All right. So make sure that you're using smoke that can be identified. The biggest issue is, like, let's say we're doing a breach because I'm an engineer. There's a lot of smoke in the area, so you saying that color of smoke, white smoke, there's a lot of smoke everywhere, that might not be a good thing, okay? So I would caution with go ahead and telling the color immediately, because you might be using it. Maybe later when the bird is on its approach, you go ahead and give them that last, hey, I have purple smoke, throw it, make sure the smoke billows on the actual site, and then go back and forth saying, hey, do you see purple smoke? Yes, I see purple smoke. Okay, we're good. Other methods of marking could be panels, it could be buzz saws or anything like that, specifically at night. That could be a big thing. All right, so 8, we go to the patient's basically status, okay, or national status. So, in our case, we're going to say American military. I like to throw in their battle roster number, so mine, Juliet Papa 2544. Just because, sometimes we're calling up to our battalion that has a better antennas and all that good stuff, so they can actually reach out to the Medevac, roll 1, roll 2, or whatnot. And then lastly is the NBC portion, okay? So often you'll hear us say none, okay? NBC, nobody cares, all right? But I will tell you that if if there is a situation where you think that it might be there, make sure that you articulate that to on the radio so that the people that are in the bird can actually react. Okay, you want to make sure that they can bring whatever they need in order to take care of casualties in the NBC environment in the air. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a medevac call over the radio. So I'm going to go ahead and flip in. I've put in what I think the scenario should be, and I'll go ahead and call it up. So I'll be calling up Pioneer X-Ray just to make sure that they're tracking that there is something that's happening, and they can also continue the flow of information to medical professionals. So Pioneer X-Ray, this is AX 7, medevac as followed, break. So go to line 1 and I'll continue on. I'll have a break in between each. Line 1, 13 Sierra Echo Charlie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9er, 0, break. Single channel plain text 55000, break. 1 Alpha, break. Alpha, break. 1 Alpha, break.